Hello, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful new year of Cub Chat Live. Thanks for making the jump from 22 to 23 with us. Quick shout outs to Pack 38 and Troop 38 and Pack 84. If you leave the first comments on this show, that's what you get. We get to kick off the show by giving you a shout out, which is something we do every week. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, we're so glad to see you again. We've got a great show today. It's full of questions that I legitimately have. So selfishly, I'm very excited about this show. And then Anthony has like a wonderful rundown, as he usually does, prepared for us. But Anthony, Happy New Year, and thanks for joining.
Happy New Year, Gina. And before we start talking about JTE, as we're talking about Cub Chat Live, we actually got some results from the Voice of the Scout survey. We asked people about Cub Chat Live. And did you know that 70% of the people that know, that are out there in Cub Scout world do not know about Cub Chat Live?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe
70%, right? So the good news is we're hitting 30% of you, right? That's fantastic. Now, the main way people are learning about Cub Chat Live is actually through Facebook and Facebook postings, not just our national branded sites, but also volunteer, unit, councils. So anything that you guys who are listeners and avid listeners can do to post Cub Chat Live on your Facebook page, we know that that's a very effective way. You can just tag people also in comments. That works too. And the feedback that we got about what people like about the show, one was that, you know what, you don't have to watch it on Facebook. So when you go to the official blog of Scouting, which is now, I believe we can announce officially, right? It's now called Aaron on Scouting. Our good friend Aaron Durr, right? It's now called Aaron on Scouting. And you can catch all of the past episodes, and those are not YouTube links. Those are YouTube links. So you can view those even if you don't have a Facebook account, or the person that you're trying to get to or send the message to doesn't have Facebook. So just wanted to start the show with that. We're super happy that we're hitting 30% of our Cub Scout leaders, and we love to strive to move that number up. And we can only do that with our loyal viewers and folks that like you who are watching today.
That is such a good point. I don't know that we've ever talked about that. You know, our pages kind of reach a critical mass. They're not going to reach any more people unless you tag somebody in who's not following the page. So that's beneficial. And then one more thing, I don't know that we've ever shared this. And it took me like years into being a social media professional, which if you can believe that there's such thing as a social media professional, they exist now.
There's Cub Scout professionals, so why not be a social media specialist?
Basically the same thing. No, if you are looking at a Facebook Live video on a page like this one, and you're thinking, I'd love to send this to my grandma Sue, but she definitely doesn't have Facebook. I don't know how to get a direct link to this. There is a secret. You're going to see, if you're on a desktop, this will be easier, but you're going to see like a date next to the very top corner. It's in a little bit smaller of a font, a date and a time. If you click on that, it opens up the video in its own page. Like you will have a direct link to that video. So that's the way if you wanted to send out an email, if you wanted to send a text, that is the way to give the direct link to this video if you're on Facebook.
So we're learning things all the time on Cub Chat Live, and that's fantastic. I didn't know that, and so that's fantastic. So great ways. Again, only our viewers can help us reach even more folks with timely information. You don't have to watch every week, but at least knowing where the posts are. So if you have a question, that might be your first go-to source to see if we've done an episode about it. Because now we're almost on 2 years now. Can you believe that? 2 years of Cub Chat Lives. So we have a great library of resources for you throughout those years. So, but that's not what we're here to talk about, is it?
No, it's not. We have a great packed show for you today. I want to say before we get going with this, that if you are watching this video on perhaps a council page, thank you for tuning in. And if you want to join the live conversation, you can jump over to the Scouting Magazine Facebook. That URL is at the bottom of the page. We're reading those comments live. And we're seeing a lot of funny ones we're going to get to in a little bit. But Anthony, before we do that, there is this acronym that's thrown about, and I think new parents hear it and they don't know what it means. You hear JTE this, JTE that, and then when you're like, what's that? And they're like, well, Journey to Excellence. You're still confused.
Right.
What is it?
So Journey to Excellence is a way for you to know, like, okay, I know everyone watching has a great Cub Scout pack, but how great is it? And so what was developed by the BSA several years ago is a method of, here are some key, what's called in the business world, key performance indicators. So these are things that we know that if you do these things, other things will follow, great success will follow. So that's the purpose of the Journey to Excellence, is to direct PACs to doing things that are proactive, that we know really move the needle when it comes to quality program. And that can encompass lots of things, but we know that when we have a quality program, uh, Cub Scouts grow, right? We see it all the time. And so that's really the essence of Journey to Excellence. And it's a scorecard. So knowing that, you're not we're not expecting every pack to be good at everything, right? That's an unrealistic expectation. So some packs will be really good at some things and maybe not so good at others. You can still be a high quality, or what we have 3 levels: bronze, silver, or gold. You can still be a gold level pack, and not do everything perfectly. And we'll see that when we break down the scorecard as we go through the show. So yeah, Journey to Excellence is just a way to recognize the hard work, but more importantly, to guide your pack to success. So if you want to, what are the things that we need to do to have a great pack? Those are the things. We have 11 objectives that if you do those things every year, we know that you're going to have a quality program.
Okay, so I'm getting it. It's kind of how you can measure the success of your pack, or what you're focused on. You've mentioned a scorecard. Is this something that, like, packs can see or can't see? Is it secret, or can you access the scorecard so that you can maybe keep up with where you're at?
Right. So we because we now love QR codes. So we got 2 actually. Brian will show up. First of all, if you got more questions about Journey to Excellence itself, the main website, you can access it through this QR code. It is on scouting.org, right? There's no logins, it isn't behind any kind of firewall or anything like that. Very open source. So if you could take out your phone, if you haven't, most smartphones, you just open your camera, aim it towards that QR code, and it'll ask you if you want to open up that website. And that's the main page to Journey to Excellence. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about the whole system and how it works, that's the site for you. Now, today we're talking about Cub Scout packs. So Cub Scout packs have a specific scorecard, and we have a QR code for that too. And if you want to scan this QR code, that will take you directly to a PDF file of the 2023 Cub Scout Pack Journey to Excellence scorecard.
You just
And
answered May's question. May said, when will the metrics for JTE 2023 be released?
and we actually released this. It was out about a month and a half ago. And so we want to make sure people were aware that it is out and available for packs. And when we go through this, if you were aware of Journey to Excellence in 2022, you'll notice that there weren't any changes. We really wanted to have a consistency for 2023. We made some adjustments in 2022. So we want to see that ride out for a couple of years before we look at making any major changes.
Very cool. We have a lot of viewers right now. Journey to Excellence must be a hot topic. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Welcome if you're new to the show. We appreciate your comments. If you have comments or questions, leave them in the live chat. We're reading them live. We've got shout out for Pack 307, Pack 29. Thanks, Rob, for dropping the links to the Journey to Excellence page on scouting.org for us. You just beat the
Awesome.
QR code. And hello to Pack 257. There are too many comments to get to right now, but we'll keep our eyes on that and read some more as we go. Okay, Anthony, you gave us a tease. You said that handy dandy number of 11. We've got 11 objectives.
We have 11 objectives. And so we're going to, of those objectives, they're broken down by topic. So there's membership, there's volunteer development, there's program. And so each of those objectives has a scale. This is, and when we go through the first one, you'll see we state the objective of what we're trying to accomplish, and then the different levels of success, the bronze, silver, and gold level of success that you may have in accomplishing that one objective. And based on your level of performance, you get a certain number of points, right? So you get lower points for bronze, higher points for silver, then the highest points are for gold. And overall, when you add up all your points and all those objectives, you evaluate if your unit is a bronze, silver, or gold. And it's a metrics, but it's the best way to be able to give a real fair and balanced evaluation of a pack, knowing that we're not expecting every pack to be fantastic at everything.
Yeah, we can actually really see that there with that point system that you had said. It doesn't mean you have to be like an A plus at every category on JTE. It looks like 8. If you wanted to be gold, you need to find about 8 that you are, exceeding the expectations in.
Or even meeting expectations, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes me think of that strength finders test that a lot of times people take in a professional setting, where it's like, it's okay to focus on what you're really good at. It's okay to
It
put effort
is.
there.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. And there's sometimes we know that there are things that happen that impact your journey to excellence score that's out of your control, right? And we try to make that balanced scorecard so you can have an up year, and then if something happens that was out of your control, you can still be a high quality functioning pack and still achieve gold or silver. So let's get to it, because we're
Yes.
we're uh, we're gonna have to zip through this.
Yeah, let's go down to the 11 objectives. What's number 1?
All right. So number one is what this is the reason why this is number one is of all the things that your pack could do to make your program successful, this is it. This is the number one leading indicator. When I talk to units that are struggling or having challenges, I ask them this question: have you conducted an annual program planning event? Right. And follow those steps. And usually the answer's no, I don't even know what that is, right? So here's a double whammy. One, we want to bring awareness to that there is such a thing as an annual pack program planning event, and that is actually formal training. They actually have formal training for that. There's a module in My Scouting under the Cub Scout training, under pack committee chair training, and it's about, I'm going to say, it's one of the longer videos, which is only about 10 minutes, that walks you through the details of how to conduct that. So the different levels is not only do you plan one, but the result of that ultimately basically needs to be a pack calendar and a budget that supports your pack program, right? So having a financial plan. We know that budgets are just a piece of paper, right? And they're just a roadmap. And so sometimes you're going to do well with it, sometimes you're not, and you have to adjust as you go. So when you have your pack calendar and your budget, you know that those two things are still flexible. But doing that in the summer and having that ready for that fall recruitment of new members, families want to join something that's organized and looks like it's ready to go. And so that's the key objective. So that's the, if you will, the minimal expectation that you should have when you have an annual program planning conference. Our next level is that not only do you do that, we skipped slide. Not only do you do that, but then you're going to conduct um, uh, an annual program planning event for the following year. So one is the bronze levels. You don't even have the event. You just have a calendar and a budget. The silver expectation is that you actually conduct an annual program planning conference. And then the last is that you conduct a family orientation. And that is getting your families to connect their scouts and scout book, right? And that is a key way to make sure that your parents are engaged with their child when they first join. So if that's not a process that you have in your pack of how to get families connected to their child so that they can easily on their phone know what advancement their Cub Scouts doing, and be in touch with the pack when they're doing calendar updates and those types of things. That's to us, we know that that's gold standard performance for program planning.
Okay. So that's number 1.
All right, that's a long one, but we took a long time on that for a reason.
You have to have
It's the
events and a
most
budget.
important.
Yeah, it
It's the
is.
most important. So next is a category. The next three have to deal with membership. And the first one is building Cub Scouting, right? So this is talking about recruiting new youth in your pack to grow membership. And we know, I'm not going to go through each standard, but I'm going to talk about these are the basics that you need to have, right? You need to have your pin on Be a Scout so people can find you. More and more people are registering online. They're finding your pack online. Even though you may have some traditional in-person recruitment events, having that online presence is critical. And the Be a Scout website is key to that. And then all the way to starting new dens and having a hyper focus on the younger age groups. We know that this is a proven technique to building growth and sustainability in your pack, focusing on making sure that you have a strong lion and or tiger program in your pack. That's your future, right? And so keeping that strong base, that base, if done right on the first time, will continue through the program and strengthen your dens throughout the rest of the years. And then, of course, if you're doing a great program, you're going to retain your kids, right? So you're going to retain your families. And to us, a gold standard is that you've got not only keeping youth, 70% of your youth retained, but you're also engaging parents and divvying up that work. We know that parents who are engaged and involved, their kids stay in the program too, right? So that's a key element to retention, not only retention of youth, but also retention of parents. So if you start focusing on parent retention, that's a huge indicator. That's why that's a gold standard. And then, of course, Weeblos to Scout transition, right? Those are key steps to making sure that those fifth grade Weeblos have a Scouts BSA troop that they are ready to join, and that connection with that local Scouts BSA troop is done as early as possible.
I can see why these three kind of fit together. They're kind of all sides of a three-sided coin.
Absolutely, and membership, and you can see on the right-hand side your total points, right? Those 2 and 3 to us are lead indicators, right? Number 4 doesn't have as many points, but that's because you may not have a lot of Weeblos, right? And we know that the reality is that sometimes in packs you may go a year and you don't have any fifth graders, right? So we don't want that to make it impossible or unable to still score high and journey to excellence.
That makes sense. Jerry says that they just turned in their 2022 scorecard this week. Good timing, Jerry. You're going to enjoy looking a little bit more. We're looking at the 2023 scorecard right now. We've gone through the first 4 objectives. Now we're on to, I think, the program elements.
Yes. So the next grouping is all program. And you'll see that advancement is a little bit different if you are used to um, the old Journey to Excellence scorecard or methods of tracking achievement advancement in Cub Scouting. We used to track by rank. So we would say, okay, X number of youth have earned their rank by this time. And that is a lagging indicator. It's not a leading indicator. So by the time you find out that 30% of the Cub Scouts in a pack did not earn their rank, it's the end of the year. It's too late. So what we've created, and we launched it about 3 years ago, there's now a new advancement report that shows adventures. So now you can track by adventure. And that is a key element. Now we know that if a pack hasn't reported doing at least one adventure a month, right? That's kind of an average, a ballpark. Then that's a problem. If a pack has gone 3 months and none of the kids have earned an adventure, that's a problem, right? And that's something that we can help address with the local pack. And so these are just, again, measurements: earning your Bobcat, earning adventures on a monthly basis, and then earning your badge of rank by the end of the school year. We say May 31st, but there's some flexibility in there based on your local council and when school ends and so forth. Then we have activities. An active pack is a successful pack, and it doesn't have to be campouts. It doesn't have to be, overnight events. It can be as simple as a meetup at the park. It can be as simple as making sure that you're doing a Pinewood Derby and blue and gold. And then we have outdoor activities. The number one reason why Cub Scout kids want to join Cub Scouts, Cub Scout age youth want to join Cub Scouts, is to go camping, right? And that's a lot because we promise that. That's kind of part of our pitch. We are an outdoor-based learning environment, right? And so having a properly planned and safe outdoor program starts with having enough quality trained adult leaders in your pack to conduct those outdoor activities. So a minimum expectation, of course, is having at least the minimum needed for a adult leader outdoor orientation. And of course, we love acronyms. That's also known as BALOO training. And then increasing the ratio of how many BALOO trained leaders you have in your pack based on how many kids you have. So if you attain that Yeah, I have one trained blue leader for every 20 Cub Scouts in my pack that attend those outings. That makes the program even easier to plan because now it's just not just one person, and it makes it safer because now you've got more people who understand how to go camping with Cub Scouts and Cub Scout families. And then lastly is that if 60% of your Cub Scouts in the pack do some kind of overnight camping experience. Now, that doesn't have to be uh, your pack planned event. Plenty of councils and districts hold overnight events. They are called, Cub Family Campouts or Autumn Adventure, or there's lots of different names for them. But any overnight activity that your district or council puts on counts towards this qualification as well. So to us, that's that gold standard. And then lastly, of course, service is certainly a cornerstone of scouting, and making sure that we have scouts that are participating in service projects is our last part of the program objectives and journey to excellence.
We talked about service project ideas too, right before the end of the year with Lisa. You guys can go back, look at that past episode if you're curious about service project ideas. And we talked then about how a lot of times people think, oh, service projects, that's Scouts BSA, that's Eagle Scouts. It's not something
Right.
Cub Scouts worry about. Actually, we just showed you that it is important, very important.
Or the level service project has to be this massive undertaking where we build like a playground for someone, right?
Yeah.
No, a service project can be very simple, short. It doesn't have to be long. At Cub Scout age level, it's really important to keep it a simple and short, and something that the youth can connect to, that it's a kind of an easy thing to understand that, oh, I did this and it benefited this, right?
Right. And age appropriate too. Again, check out that past episode. We're not talking about sending your Cub Scouts out, barehanded to pick up trash. That's
Right.
not what
Well,
we're
and we also
describing.
make it easy too. Many councils still conduct scouting for food drives in their local communities. So if your pack participates in that, that's an easy way to mark off that journey to excellence.
Great point. It's coming full circle.
Yes,
When I'm participating in Cub Chat Live, it's like, oh yeah, we talked about that a few times. It just took 2 years.
it all makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, it all makes somebody's thinking this through. We have two more objectives on our list of objectives here for the Journey to Excellence 2023 scorecard. I'm excited to see what they are.
Me too. All right. So lastly, we have volunteer leadership. And you can see these are actually pretty high scoring points here, because we know that the foundation of a strong quality pack is engagement of parents, and taking parents on a journey from joining, getting a little bit involved, dipping their toes in the water, if you will, gaining some responsibility, and then getting into leadership. Not everyone's going to make that full journey, but you have to have a system that allows for that journey. Too often we have join and be a leader, and we miss all this in between time. And what we're finding through Voice of the Scout surveys, that turns a lot of parents off. And that's the reason why they're not volunteering. They're being asked too quickly to take on a key leadership role. So volunteer opportunities is number 10. And so we actually have done roundtable videos on this, and we have done Cub Chat Live episodes on this about how to get parents involved. And specifically, by developing a list of tasks that need to get done for your program year. That should come from your program planning conference. And you list those and give families an opportunity to select those tasks. So a little bit different approach, not going after leadership positions. You're not looking for a popcorn chair. You're looking for someone who on sometime in October, November, can go to the facility that has the popcorn to pick it up and deliver it to wherever your meeting location is. That's the task that you're going to give to a parent to get them started to dip their toes in the water of helping out, right? That's one less thing that the popcorn chair has to do, one less thing the Cub Master has to do. So divvy those by tasks. We know that this is a very impactful way to get parents involved, because they're getting to self-select the tasks that they can do and the time commitment that they have and the resources that they have. And so then, in addition to that, we want to make sure that your returning dens have den leaders, right? So recruiting new den leaders and having all den leaders recruited by October 30th, or 30 days within the your recruitment event, that we want to make sure that happens. That again, we've got roundtable videos, we've had Cub Chat live episodes about how to recruit den leaders, right? What you're looking for, evaluating skill sets. Don't recruit that first night. Get the group together, see who rises to the top, who has a skill set that's great for you. Because by doing it that way, you're going to have tenure, you're going to have a longevity compared to someone who just might do one meeting and then just ghost you. And that happens way too often. And then lastly, our gold standard is that making sure you're developing on a succession plan, right? You may be the Cub Master this year, and you may not have any plans to step aside anytime soon, but it's good to have that kind of blocked out. Say, okay, in 2 years, I'm going to not be the Cub Master anymore. So the year before that, at minimum, we should have an assistant Cub Master who knows that they're going to be the next Cub Master. Den leaders can do that too. You may not necessarily recruit your assistant den leader to be the den leader next year, but you're constantly looking at the parent group, because a parent who can't be a den leader this year, things change in their lives, and they may say, you know what, I think I can commit to being a den leader for next year. So don't take that first no as a forever no. So our gold standard in volunteer opportunities is making sure that you have this constant cycle of knowing who's going to be leaving. They know when they're leaving. Everyone else does, and you have someone ready in place to take their place. That also makes it a lot easier, in my experience, to get people to say yes. Right? When you say, we want you in this position for 1 year, and we already got your replacement lined up. Oh, okay, I think I can do that. Or we want you to take this position 2 years from now. So that gives you a chance, if you need to free up your calendar or get familiar, to prepare yourself to get into that role. It's a lot easier to get a yes and a strong commitment from someone. And
It's
then,
so true, because I was just going to say, I know it's not the same, but when I was approached to advise for a venturing crew, they got me by just saying, we really only need 1 year. And it's like, okay, I can do that. I can, think 1 year ahead.
yeah, and it might last longer than that, but
Totally. It did.
the original commitment, right, is that there is a time frame on that. It's really difficult. Succession planning becomes really difficult when you have a very long tenured volunteer in a position. So a 6-7 year tenured Cub Master or pack committee chair, it becomes really hard to replace that person if that person um, has taken on so much responsibility that is beyond their role. People think that that is the role, right? And so it becomes really hard for someone to step up and say, you know, I can't be Cub Master because I can't do all these things that you do, right? Not knowing that person is actually doing way more than what that title or position should be doing. Cub
Right.
Master is like, you run pack meetings. Really, that's kind of the gist of it. But we know that Cub Masters out there do so much more, and that's just part of that succession planning, making sure that you have got that funnel of parents, taking them on that journey from joining, dipping their toe, getting a little bit more experience, and then asking for a commitment for leadership. And lastly, of course, we want to train our leaders, right? This is absolutely critical to making sure that people know uh, you know what we're asking them to do. um, and the great thing is, we really have made sure that position specific training, which is that first level of training, is online. It's mobile friendly. They're done in modules, and no one position takes more than an hour to get trained in. In fact, if you are a PAC committee member, it only takes about half an hour to get to finish position specific training. So you've got youth protection training that you do up front when you become a registered leader, and then another hour commitment is going to get you trained in your position to get you started. Now, that's not as we know from the last Cub Chat Live, or actually an upcoming episode. I take that back. We haven't done it yet. In 2 weeks, our Cub Scout chair, Audrey, is going to talk about beyond position-specific training. So position-specific training is just kind of the start of your learning journey. And there's plenty of opportunities to learn more as you go. But those are the 11 standards or objectives, I should say, for Cub Scout packs for Journey to Excellence for 2023. Again, if you were familiar with the objectives for 2022, you're not going to see any changes. We wanted to keep it simple for you. We didn't feel that there was enough time in 2022. We got the standards out late, and we acknowledged that. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we didn't have any changes for 23.
Very good. We've got a lot of great comments, a lot of high views throughout this. People are definitely interested in Journey to Excellence. I have a question, but before I get there, shout out to Rusty because he's tagging folks in the comments. That's totally what we want you to do, especially, fellow leaders, fellow parents, please tag them. Beth said we had a great discussion on succession. Yeah, it sounds like that could be a whole nother topic. We have talked about it before, but we could always bring that one back around. Rob, thanks for being a loyal viewer. He says they have University of Scouting here tomorrow for an example of beyond position-specific training. Great note.
Yes.
Okay, Anthony, when we were looking at the page or the scorecard, like what the scores need to be to meet bronze, silver, gold, I see on gold that objective number 6, you need to be at least bronze. I wanted to go back to objective number 6, look at it, and talk about why that one is clearly very important. Okay, we'll conduct special activities and outings. We talked about it because it's just crucial to the program. You're promising that we're going to get outside, we're going to go do something, and then you have to actually deliver on it for your Cub Scouts, your new recruits.
Right. So mathematically, you could be gold and not do number 6, right? However, how could we say that this is a gold standard pack if they haven't even conducted one event, special event, or activity aside from the regular pack meeting in the whole year, right? So you didn't do Pinewood Derby, you didn't do Blue and Gold, you didn't do, I don't know, crossover, you didn't do a day event, a hike, or, annual program planning even count. I mean, there's just so many things, a meetup at the park, right? Those things. So yeah, that's why it's number 6 is just one of those things where, gosh, if they didn't do that, I don't think we could.
They're not doing the program.
We can say that they were gold, right? We can say that they're meeting the highest standard of excellence in our program delivery. So
yeah, okay, good highlight. One more question for you from Ryan. He has a great question. When do you complete JTE?
That is a good question. I believe that some councils may have different calendars of when they have units turn in their JTE. So there's you may see 2 different schools of thought here. All right. One is that the idea is for it to be for the program year. And that's where probably the vast majority of people are at. So again, the idea is that we should have the 24 standards out before this summer. That's our commitment. And that way, when you do your annual program planning, you can have that 2024 scorecard with you as you start to plan to make sure you have those things checked off. So the program year is where most people say that is when you do Journey to Excellence, and you'll see most of the standards are written that way. Because that's how you track advancement, right? The other is calendar year. I've heard of that. It's infrequent, but you may come across that too. I think the intent is for it to be the program year.
Okay, interesting. I'm seeing some debate in the comments regarding that. Interesting. I didn't realize that different units were doing it different ways.
Yeah, it's usually dictated by the council as when they're accepting that. Some will tag it with their with recharter, which is vast majority of units recharter at the end of the year, and so they're asking units to turn in their Journey to Excellence scorecards with recharter at the same time, instead of having a separate kind of collection during the spring when the school year ends. So again, that's just we're be familiar with your local and maybe your local rationale, because you may, if they can't justify doing it in the calendar year, maybe there's a movement that you can have to do it in the program year.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anthony, have we missed anything? Anything else you want to add before we end our Cub Chat Live today?
I would just kind of go backing up to the first topic that we're talking about, which is, hey, make sure you tag folks. Make sure you let people know about this. Again, we got great data back from Voice of the Scout, this from the fourth quarter of last year, and asking great questions about, do you know about Cub Chat Live? How did you hear about it? What would you like to see us improve? And we're taking those notes very seriously, and we're going to implement that into our future episodes. But again, as Gina said, we've got this capacity that we can't get beyond by just doing self-promotion. The way that things work, you got to help us let people know about this show.
Absolutely. Help us grow the network. If you're watching today too, another great way to help us keep the show improving and reaching a bigger audience, you can rate the show. We've got a QR code we'll put up on screen. You can scan that. Let us know how we're doing. Give us any feedback. We can take it. Your feedback is a gift to us. So thanks for that. Thanks for watching. Anthony, thanks for joining as always. Thanks for giving us so much of your time here on Cub Chat Live.
Thank you, Gina, so much. It's always a pleasure, and looking forward to next week.
Yep. We'll see everybody next week.